Yes, and welcome to Pcarmarket Live. My name is David Jacobson, and did you hear that?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard a horn honking. My name is David Jacobson, and you're listening to what's the name of the show?
Beep. Pcarmarket Live.
Pcarmarket. Inside
the market.
Pcarmarket. I'm going to start this again.
I don't know. It's good.
Okay, it's good. All right, we're going to keep going here because you know what? We kick the crew out every time we do this show, so we're going to plow through. Yeah. You like real world stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's what just happened. So what I was trying to say is we have a new show coming up, and I actually forgot the name of this show. So this show is called Inside the Market. My name is David Jacobson. Yep. And I have Jim Barry.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody knows Jim. Jim gets more phone calls than anyone because everyone says, I got to talk to Jim. I got to see what my car's worth. I want to list it, but what's the reserve? I got to talk to Jim.
Which is okay. I enjoy it.
That's what
He met a lot of nice people.
He met a lot of nice people. We do appreciate. The show is growing. We're getting more and more people that are listing cars, but also commenting and also giving us a call.
Yeah.
Wanting to talk about cars and values and stuff. So keep them coming. We really appreciate it. And that's a perfect segue to a little bit of a plug here for Pcarmarket itself, pcarmarket.com. The one of the things we're seeing, Jim, that we can share with people are most of the people, I would say 50% of the people that are putting cars on our platform are first-time auction users.
Yeah, that's a fair number, yeah.
And I personally love that because there are people that have maybe no sale done bat. We get the car, and in most cases we actually get more money for them.
Yeah.
And we actually are getting a lot of people that have sold on classifieds and Craigslist, all the other, Auto Trader, whatever car, and they would never ever have ever thought of bringing a car to an auction site like ours. And we have a team of guys. We're looking for those people. We're not necessarily looking for people that auction cars all the time. We love that. But the point is that we love bringing people into this new world that are very reluctant to do that. And their first time, they're very nervous. They don't know what to think. And then watching them go through the process, the car sells, they get fair money, and they actually had an enjoyable process. It's actually pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it is, because the people who do the auctions, they understand how it works. They know why it works. The people who aren't watching these things all day long, that aren't glued to them, they really don't have a clue. You know what I mean? And then once they see it, their eyes are opened up. It's actually like, it's a valuable thing to them because now they know they have this kind of resource.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time. We had a guy who we have a nice relationship with now. He bought a car in here. And, normally, we don't call them unless there's a reason. I had to speak to this gentleman. And then it turned out he was selling a car to buy this one. We put it on, and he just couldn't have been happier. You know what I mean? He actually went and wrote a review online, and it worked out so well for him. And people just don't even think. Like, he wasn't even going to put the car on. He was just going to take it to the dealer and sell it. And he, Yeah.
It's very interesting because I personally enjoy that more than anything is seeing somebody come over here, like you had said, who's kind of reluctant. And even the Zymall, the owner of Zymall who put his cars on here was one of those guys that was reluctant to do it.
He was very reluctant.
Very reluctant. At the beginning, it was like pulling teeth trying to get him to make the commitment. The point is that whether you're someone that has or has not ever auctioned a car before, the format, our platform, it is fun, it is real, there's no smoke and mirrors. We're not perfect, we do our best, our guys do the best. We've expanded to a larger team to get people that are on the ball, which we have a fantastic crew. I couldn't be more proud of our team, I really couldn't. They work all hours of the night trying to get things right. And then, so we appreciate everyone out there who has entrusted their cars on our platform, and the success rate, the closing rate, or the sell-through rate has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And we've actually geared up to take on more cars now. Mm-hmm. So send us your car. Pcarmarket.com, submit it. One of the team members will call you, interview you, go through everything we need to go through, get that car up, sold in 7 days, and have some fun. Mm-hmm. Have some fun in selling your car. So, and by the way, that's all makes and models. You know, we're going to go through mostly Porsches, which we normally do here, and then we're going to go into a couple of other cars that I think people would be interested that were sold that you know on our platform. One of the other things I want to mention is, you may or may not have heard that we have a new show that's going to be starting in a few weeks. It's called This Is My Car. This Is My Car is a show where people will bring their cars, collectors, enthusiasts. You know, some you will know, some you won't know. Some are famous, some are not. But we'll have them drive into our showroom studio, and they will be interviewed about their car. We'll show you the insides, the outsides. We'll take the car for a drive. They're going to be cars of great interest. You know, the first ones that are coming up is we have the Urban Bamboo GT2 RS. That's near $700,000 build from the factory that the owner took 2 years to work with Porsche to build. It's a famous car. It's actually right now heading or just arrived at the Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta, where it'll be shown off. Mm-hmm. I'll pop a picture up so you can see that. We're going to go through the entire car, go through his experience working with Porsche to build this special car. And we have Jason Castriota, who was a Pininfarina Farina designer. He designed the 599, the Gran Turismo Maserati. Yep. He was also the designer of the Tutara, which just broke a world speed record.
And you drove that car.
I drove that car, man, and it is sweet.
Yeah.
And what I drove is sweet, but you got to see
the finished product.
Yeah. I know he sold a few of these around the world, and the car's gorgeous. So Jason himself will be here with a very special car that he built. Not going to say much about it. I may not even put a picture of it, because it's a really, really, really cool car.
Yeah.
And then we have an Emery Outlaw. You know, that a Gunther.
Cool stuff.
A new Black Series.
And have no fear, there will be a couple of non-Porsches in there too for people who like.
No. What are you talking about? We have a very special F40. Mm-hmm. We have the BMW Black, brand new one. That's out. So anyway, cool stuff. Mm-hmm. We have Lamborghinis in the lineup. We have really, really cool stuff, and we're gonna drive them all. We're gonna drive them all, or I'm gonna drive them all. Sorry, we got you all excited there, but and you're gonna see it. You're gonna see how these things drive, and they're not just beautiful to look at. So we're excited. So This Is My Car. You'll be able to check it out on thisismycar.com. It's going to be brought to you by Pcarmarket, and we are very excited, so please stay tuned to that. All right, so.
Here we go.
Thank you and good night. No. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of a potpourri, meaning I asked him what potpourri was, and he said, that stuff that smells, but potpourri, a mixture of, a blend, whatever it is. So we're going to do a blend of different auctions that ended on Pcar this week, and we're going to start with a car that was one of that delighted us when it came on there because it was beautiful to look at. And right now, John, boom, bam, you got it? There it is. It's a 2005 Porsche 996 Turbo S Cabriolet. And just real briefly, Jim, I know that you have great love for these cars.
I love this car, yeah.
17,000 miles, Atlas Gray, factory GT3 wheels, some upgrades, performance upgrades that may or may not have hurt the final bid price because some upgrades help. Sometimes if there's a little too many, people get a little spooked. Original paint. $24,000 in upgrades, and I'll just go through them. Cross coilovers, upgraded control arms. I'll show some pictures here, John. Look, we have a little artwork behind there, and I think it's that Starry Night. I think so. And then, so the car has had an Evo MS kit, Stage 4 kit, upgraded ECU, high flow cats, blah, 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 blah. So what were your thoughts about this car, Jim, and how did it do numbers-wise?
Well, interesting, because we've talked about these before. We had that 12,000 mile one that sold for $2,000 more, $3,000 more a few months ago. So either this is just saying the market's about the same, or maybe the market did go up a little bit and this car took a tiny haircut for the mods. Me personally, I'm not a mod guy. But the reason I'm not a mod guy is usually when you see a car that's modded, it looks like it was abused. This car looks like it was not. Yeah, I mean, it looks like somebody just wanted to upgrade some things to it, and they really took good care of it. You know what I mean? So the color is second to none. The wheels, having those wheels from the factory is a big deal.
Oh yeah, they really make a big difference.
You know, for those who maybe didn't watch the other podcast or don't know about this car, this is just a very collectible car because it's the only Turbo S Metzger stick you could buy. Yeah, I mean,
people need to hear that because why is this car so special other than it being a turbo cabriolet?
Yeah, the next Turbo S was PDK only. It was not a Metzger. So this was remember in 2005, everyone wanted to get the new 911. They went back to the round lights, the 997.
Yes, yep.
So you had to be a real connoisseur to walk into a showroom and buy this. We said this about the GT3 too, right? You could have got the cutting edge, new state of the art Carrera S for $90,000 with ceramic brakes and Sport Chron and all this, or drop $90,000 on a old body style GT3, or drop $130,000 on this. So you had to really know what this was, and just like everything else, when Porsche rolls out a new body style, these last of the line of the last era become very, very sought after, and that's what you got here. Because I would take this over any 05 997. I mean, look at this car.
Yeah, no, the
15, 20 years later, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Well, listen, in general, the world is now falling in love with 996s.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with the headlights. I don't want to sound like a trailblazer. Mm-hmm. I never was a big fan of these compared to the other ones. I always liked the front of the other car, the 997, better. But when you look at the GT1, the GT1, the race car, a street legal race car.
Look at the front of that car.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, people forget, when you read magazines, people just put opinions in there. I mean, it's like politics. It's like people just put things in there, and it's based on nothing. I mean, look at that Chris Bangle designed 7 Series. It was the best-selling 7 Series of all time. I had 4 of them. I loved the car. Every magazine said, this car's ugly, this car. Okay, great. You think it's ugly. They're selling like wildfire. This car, I remember when these came out, they were $130,000, the coupe. Yeah. People were paying $200,000. They were paying $70,000 over MSRP in 2001. Yeah. For a car that everyone thinks is so ugly. So why would people? No one's paying $200,000 for a 997 turbo or a 991 turbo. No one's doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're not going for over MSRP. So this car is a special car to me.
Yeah, no, I know you love it. And you know what? Driving this car is, people don't understand. It's a rocket ship. Mm-hmm. The motor is bulletproof. The lines on the car with the intakes in the front, and when you look at the back of this car, it's just the details on this car, when you really look at it, are very, very, very well done. Look at that.
Yeah, and this guy did a great photo shoot. I know you like to comment on the photos. Yeah. I mean, this guy, he shot the car, and it shows the right angles of it and stuff like that. It's a great car, but ceramics are standard. You got the X50 power kit, with beautiful. The S. So that's the ultimate, convertible for appreciation. And, with this mileage, you could drive it a little bit and have some fun with it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's it.
So at the end of the day, the car sells for $70,000.
Plus the fee, yes.
Plus $73,500. So $73,500 all in. And you know what? That's a lot of car for that kind of money. Mm-hmm. This car is going to go up. We know that. There's no question about that, because the more and more that these cars are appreciated, it's kind of like supply and demand. If 2 people were willing to buy a 996 out of 10 5 years ago, and now there's 4 people out of 10, what's going to happen when there's 6 and 7 out of 10? Yeah. So, we like to rate these, and I think maybe, you could keep this right now still as a B+, right? There's an opportunity to buy these. Car.
I mean, listen, it's still, I always say, because he always sends me a message, Spencer, I always think of Spencer with this car. This is his next car. And he knows it.
Yeah, he's talking about my brother, who has a C2S cab, and probably irking to pull the trigger on something with a little more power, because he's a freaking nut job. He thinks he's Hamilton, his favorite driver, his favorite current driver. Anyway, so let's go to the next car.
Let's do it.
Which is go to a nice change here. 1970.
We don't see a lot of these, so this is.
We don't see a lot of these. 1970 914-6. I'm going to tell you, I loved this car. Now, I owned a 914-6 in green. I did not like the color of the car very much.
What was yours, Viper green?
No, it was called green metallic. Just boom.
Really? It didn't have a name?
Didn't have green metallic, but that's it. Okay. Like I call you Jim, not like a handsome Jim or a smart Jim.
Definitely not handsome. Sometimes I'm smart.
But Jim. So my car was just green metallic. So But I will tell you two things. First of all, I did not really like the car. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a 914 fan.
I know.
I just the whole thing. Sitting the way you sit and the whole experience in the car. I get it. I get it. There are cars I like that people don't, and I can't explain what I love about it. And maybe, just maybe, I'm man enough to admit it. Maybe I didn't spend enough time behind the wheel. I had a problem with the clutch, and I kind of let it sit there before I fixed it all the way, and it sat there, if you remember.
Yeah, even this car, when you watch the video, it sounds, there's so much more sound in this car than a 911 because the motor's right behind you.
I know, and before I get to hate mail and stuff like that, I did not spend enough time behind the wheel or really take this out and bring it to its limits to enjoy it. So I'm not even going to delete what I said because I did say it, but it's really not fair.
At the end of the day, it's a mid-engine car with a 911 motor in it. It's built by Porsche, so it's cool. It's not junk.
So in there lies the cool factor.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. This is like the Cayman when the Cayman GT4 came out with the 911 motor. This is Porsche's been doing this for a long time, man. They've been doing stuff like this, hot rods, and this is gorgeous. And I'm telling you that getting behind the wheel of this car, you need time to because it's very different. It's so different. You know, it's like if you get into a 2002 BMW, or you get into an Alfa Romeo, and after getting out of a Porsche, you know, you're not gonna love that car. It may be underpowered. I'm not saying this is, but it has different characteristics that you're not used to. Seating position, you know, just handling characteristics. It takes a little while to get used to, and you may fall in love. I didn't get a chance to fall in love, and that's the case. But
it's
Jim,
the same for me. To me, it's not because it's not familiar. You know, because especially with that sound. Yeah, I mean, like you expect. You know, you hear that sound, so you feel like you're 911, but like your seating position's different. Your everything's different. You know, and that's kind of how I felt when I drove the 718 Boxster. You know what I mean? Because I've talked about this before. When they switched to water-cooled, it was still a familiar exhaust note to me.
Right.
So I knew I was in a Porsche. But when I got in the 718 Boxster, I stepped on it. It was plenty of power. The handling was incredible. But that sound bothered me. It was just, you know, I was in like a familiar cockpit with a weird noise. And it's like almost like if you came home and your wife was talking in another language or something, like, what's going on here? It doesn't, it wasn't right.
Well, some people may like that.
Yeah, but people who were into 914s, maybe raced them back in the day, know them. I mean, they're going to have a different outlook. But I've driven maybe 20 miles in my life in a 914, if that. So I don't have a lot of experience with it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to put up the driving video here. And, you know, John, you'll be able to put some sound up on this? I can? How do I do that? It's okay. I don't want to stop right now, John. It's okay. But we'll put it up there when it goes live. I'll put a little sound. Look at that. Look at that. That's a smart seller. Put a little Porsche turbo while you're pulling away. I also have this. So canary yellow, 2,800 miles. $70,000 in resto receipts. Yep. This car is really well done. You can see the crispness of the interior. It's matching numbers, documented back to new.
Right.
Great documentation, and quite frankly, as a result, the owner was rewarded as the car stopped at 113, so all in $118,000. But you know what? You can't say not well bought as well, because go find another one of these. This crisp, beautiful. Look at that. Very, very nice, nicely done. Receipts, ownership, all the original receipts from ownership on the car. Come on.
Yeah.
Really incredible.
No, and this warranted it, you know, because we see a lot of these get submitted.
Crazy bidding at the end, man.
Yeah, and everyone wants six figures from, but this is what warrants six figures. You know what I mean? When you don't have all these boxes checked, they're not over $100,000, these cars. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
We sold one, I think, for 55. That was like, you know, a decent driver.
Yes,
you know,
to somebody not too
local,
far from here.
and it's a nice car.
Yeah, I see him driving it, and I love it, and it sounds great. When there's the disparity. I mean, you have from a driver okay car to one that is at this level. It's a $50,000 difference in price.
At least. So I think it was well bought, well sold, and you know, the color does a lot for this car, because these cars in darker colors. I don't know, you know. I like how everything works together, the chrome, the black. You know what I mean?
Kidding me? We can't say enough about how color affects. We're going to get into that now. How a color affects price. If you look right now, I think we're going to get this up before the auction ends. We have that Atlas blue G body up there. Just go right now. Go to Pcarmarket.com.
Arrow blue.
Arrow blue, excuse me. Arrow blue.
I've never seen that color before.
You know what? The only reason why I knew about that color is when we were looking to do something years ago, I think with Michael's car, to build his car. I was looking at all the blues, like the Bali, the Oslo, the Baruchki, and all these different blues. And I saw Atlas. Arrow, as well as other ones.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where there's such a small difference. I guess when they're next to each other, there's probably a bigger difference. But I was looking at these colors, and I always remembered Arrow blue.
It's funny because you don't think of blue with the word arrow, especially with Mercedes. Everything's silver arrow. I mean, so what's a blue arrow?
I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm sure somebody knows. We'll get a message.
Does arrow mean something in German? I don't know.
Maybe. I have no
we'll
idea.
Find out. If you know about that, then let us know. But anyway, so yeah, the Arrow Blue with that cork interior. Go on right now to Pcarmarket.com and find that car. Look at it.
Not to mention the car's got no miles on it. I think it's a one-owner car.
It's cool. There's a million things to love about that car, but without going off on a tangent on it, my point is that that car's already at, I think, close to $60,000.
Yeah, and it's a new seller with us, so hopefully it goes well. He seems that he gets some nice stuff.
Oh, yeah.
New relationship there, so we'll see how it goes.
Yep. So color's a big deal. Color is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Sometimes much bigger than people realize. So when you're buying your new Porsche, pick something weird. I mean, when we bought our 911R, we left the PCM out. We have that hole in the dash.
And it's nice because you have a place to put your cell phone now.
It's not only convenient, but I'm telling you, even only 5 years later, it's freaking cool.
It is cool.
I mean, the rare times I drive that car, which I'm embarrassed to say, is I just love the fact that that's empty, and it reminds me.
Well, what's even cooler about it? When we got that BMW, that Alpina, you're driving a 13-year-old BMW that still drives, in my opinion, better than a new BMW, right? But it's got that horrible, old, outdated infotainment system that, like, if you click a button to change a station, there's you have to count 18 seconds for it recognizes that you pushed it.
Yeah.
So as that car ages, it's like you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about the technology being gone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Being outdated. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I have that problem with a lot of Mercedes and BMWs. There's cars I still like from the late 2000s that you can't even use the radio. And there are companies that are making replacements now, like the way Porsche's making the classic radio. There are companies that are doing it for Mercedes and BMW, and even Lexus, where you could put a screen that fits in and it has Apple CarPlay and all that stuff, because the stuff's unusable.
So I think the BMW is unusable for a different reason, because you need a PhD in operations.
I'm so used to that, and you got to give them credit. They get beat up for that. And the whole industry copied them.
I had the car for 3 days. I couldn't put the freaking radio on.
You're off patience.
I'm telling you.
No, because it doesn't work. That's why.
It doesn't?
I drove that car too. It's terrible.
Wait, hold on. The radio doesn't work?
It works when it wants to.
All right.
It works when it wants to.
Okay.
There was a couple of times I was able to change a station. A couple of times I clicked it, and it took me right back. I had to scroll all the way up to channel 50, and then I pushed it and took me back to channel 1 on the satellite radio.
So I'm not a complete moron.
No, you're not a moron.
All right,
it's crazy old technology. It was glitchy back then, and talk about glitchy now. Forget it.
All right.
It's half dead. It's like trying to,
BMW. Some things never change. Is that their slogan?
No.
BMW. Some things never change. I'm kidding. Anyway, and I like BMW. I'm kidding. I joke. I kid. So, 1998. Oh, we sold that. We did the numbers.
This car,
okay, so here we go. 1998. A Porsche 993 C2S.
Yep.
Probably in many people's world, the pinnacle Porsche automobile. Just real quickly on this, 29,000 miles, solid, no stories, light upgrades, suspension coilover, short shifter, and a classic radio, and the all-lovable 996 steering wheel, which I know a lot of people talk about, but one of the greatest things you could do to this car. I know, Jim, you're one of the few people that love
this looks better. Make no mistake. I believe this looks better, but I'm just, it takes me back in time when I sit in a 993 and that old school 90 steering wheel. So if I have the luxury of having two of them, one will have this wheel and one will have the other one.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, but I have an issue with the 993 steering wheel, because when I first got the car, I'd be driving the car, it would be honking every time I put my foot
I have that problem now.
I put my foot on the brake, honking, people looking at me. I mean, for 2 weeks, it was because it was intermittent, and I'm sitting there, I'm behind like an old lady, and the car's honking. and she's looking at me like, give me the finger, and I'm like, I can't. It's honking kids. I'm driving by a playground, and it's honking.
It happened to me when I pulled up to a stop sign, and there were like these 4 guys standing on a corner, and I thought they were going to come and try to break my windows because I hit the brakes and the horn was honking. It was a scary situation once.
We've all had that.
Yeah.
I had an Isetta once, and I'll never forget this. I just got the Isetta. Everybody knows what Isetta is. That's the little
it's a refrigerator
car. And I'm driving around my quiet neighborhood, and the thing is honking and honking and honking, and everyone thinks I'm showing off. Like, look at my new Isetta. Meanwhile, I look like a dweeb in this little tiny car, and the thing's going, So I just started waving. I was like, I had to do something because people are outside, they're mowing their lawns, and I'm just driving by with this. And you know how annoying that honking is, right?
It's horrible.
It sounds like a screeching screamer.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I had to get fixed before I ever drove the thing again. Anyway, fun stuff. So, here we are.
Aluminum dials, classic radio, right? 3-spoke steering wheel. So this car had some upgrades. Someone pointed out that the dials were changed too because this car says Carrera S in the tach from the factory. So if you order silver dials, it should say Carrera S in black. And that was common because the dealers had a blast selling you the stuff, after you...
so it's common.
Yeah, they sell you the spoiler. They sell you the, if it didn't have the 18-inch wheels, they'd sell you that. They'd sell you the carbon. They'd sell you the aluminum or the carbon or the wood brake and the shifter and all that stuff. So there was a lot of stuff they did with these cars.
Right. I'm trying to get a little video up here. So, there's the underneath of the car. Yeah, this was a pretty solid car. Crisp interior. And again, when you look at 993s... And I'll just pop out of here for a second. When you look at 993s, you know that the seats, as beautiful as the cars are, you know that the seats are always like the first things to wear on it.
Yeah.
This car had some pretty nice, seats. The wear in the seats was light. Obviously nobody sat in the back of these most of the time, but even in the driver's seat, let me get there.
And the backs were leatherette anyway, so they wouldn't, they should just built the whole interior out of that. See, because even there, look, you get if that was a 991, that's what it would look like with 100,000 miles.
No, you're right. You're right. You know what? Yeah, this does still have that patina, that 993 wrinkly stuff going on.
Yeah, it's normal.
But all in all, we know that, and you look at this car, and this is what a seat looks like when it's barely sat in.
Right.
And here's what a seat looks like that's very, very little wear on it compared to what this could look like. So this is a nice shape. You know that the car's, mileage obviously commensurate with the seat wear.
Yeah.
Love this shifter knob in this car. I really do. Cool. I loved it. I had one of these, as you know, it's silver, my favorite color, and love the car.
You know why you don't see that a lot? And I learned this when I lived in Florida. You leave that in a parking lot to go for lunch in the sun, and that you can't touch that thing.
Oh, yeah?
So that's why you don't see a lot of them. People would take them out of cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's the view. There's the view. I'm going to be one of the few weird people out here that say I like the S in red. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I know. I think they should have done that from the factory. I just think it's a nice little touch on it. I wouldn't do it on mine because I wouldn't change it. It's not that important.
People do it. It's not.
It's not that important to me to do it. But I think it looks nice. I think it looks nice, and the twin grill killer. Anyway, so this car did 130,000
plus the 5,000.
Plus the 5,000. It did big money.
It did a lot of money.
This car is a car that this car could have sold for 115 and been okay.
Yeah, this is where the listeners have to be careful with the market because we have a lot of action going on right now, which is why we didn't even do like a theme today. We're just picking interesting comps. We're seeing some cars break records. We're seeing some cars still hang on to what they should sell for. We had a twin to this car. Mark Starr sold it back in, I remember I was on vacation in September.
Right.
And the car did like 112 or 114.
And that was fine. Yeah.
That was fine.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, then a car like this does this because of whatever, the wind's blowing in the right direction.
Well, also we had a lot of people asking me, there was a car in Bring a Trailer that did 130.
Yeah.
With a Carfax issue and 60,000 miles. And I was getting, even though we talk about this all the time, I was getting calls from people, including the seller. And I'm like, listen, the guy had a photo shoot that people don't want to believe this, but the car looked like $1 million.
Yeah, well, don't tell me
it
that.
It had a red interior.
Okay, stop right there.
It had a wing,
yeah.
and it had probably a set of $10,000 beautiful HRE lightweight wheels with rivets. The car. So that's like in the last podcast we talked about the turbos. There was that silver red one that did all the money because of the color and stuff.
I'm going to put a picture of that up. That's a game changer.
And people don't understand. If this car had a red interior, then it would have done 145.
Yeah. No. This again, black, red. 20,000 less miles or 15,000 less miles.
Yeah.
You're talking about.
But that's where people go wrong. They get one comp that's like the height of the market, and then they start paying for the stuff that's not really warranting it. Not that this doesn't warrant a good price. The car is amazing. And I don't think that the buyer got a terrible deal, but, the car is definitely, C2Ss have been trading in this configuration, 110, 115, 120.
Yeah, which would have been fine. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But I agree, the black with the red, and we'll pop that up. That car definitely deserves a premium with lesser mileage and so forth and so on. All right, so that's that.
Yep.
Let's pop over to a little bit of a newer car here, 18991 Targa.
15 with 18,000 miles.
Yep. My dyslexia just popped right in there.
That's all right. It does say 18 in all fairness.
This is a Grot. Oh, that's a Targa. I'm sorry. No, an 18,000 mile 2015 Porsche 991 Targa 4S manual. And everyone knows 7-speed. What's really cool about this car, for those of you that are in the know or not in the know, is that these are the last naturally aspirated 911s. This is a
non-GT3s, yeah.
The non-GT3s, yes. This is so this car has a 3.8 liter. The next year they went to a 3 liter with the turbo, and to a lot of people that's a big difference.
It's a big difference.
The sound, the feel, the delivery of the power. Although Porsche did a great job, the car is absolutely incredible with the 3 liter motor. But for those that like the bigger displacement without the turbo, the characteristics are different.
I'm that person.
Yeah, I get it. I know you feel about it with the Boxsters and everything.
Yeah, and the reason we talk about this is we're always going to do a little check-in on the Targas. Like we talked about that red one that sold maybe 4 months ago that was highly configured. We're watching these closely because the new Targa is out. People are selling these, but this just goes to show with a stick and nice color combo, these are still holding their own. You know what I mean? Because you're starting to see these in PDK get around 100, even less if they have miles on them. So this is holding its own. So. This did a good number. There's a lot of people wanted this car. It's
gorgeous, man. Look at that car. I mean, when you look at the color combination, dark blue over tan in general, it's killer. This one happened to have espresso cognac interior, and it is breathtaking. It's just really, if I was looking for just a daily driver, PDK version of this car, which I would love to have, this is a color combination that I'd be totally okay with.
Yeah.
And let's see if they have a little video here. We like the full videos, man. So, but, and HRE wheels were included, killer color combo, and the manual transmission, Jim. So price-wise, how do you think it did?
I think it did well for the seller because it's a supply-demand thing. I'm not going to say that it sold for too much money because you could see there was a lot of demand. There was one bidder that called up with a financing question. He was going to go up to about 100 on the car. I feel bad. I wanted him to get the car. So it just goes to show.
He didn't get it?
Yeah, I just don't think he, wanted to go this high on it.
I didn't know it. So it went to almost.
Wow. Maybe he did. I don't know who won it, but I don't think that was him. But nonetheless, this is a supply-demand thing. You can't say it sold for a lot because the majority of these cars are just like black, silver, black. So stick and this. And then don't forget, those HRE wheels, whether you like them or not, they're expensive. So
these are the factory wheels.
Yeah, those are the factory. So if the guy wants to sell those wheels, he's going to get a couple of grand.
So is there a picture? Is there a picture of wheels?
Yeah, at the end.
Because I'm a big HRE wheel
I wish
guy.
there was a picture of them on the car.
You know how much I love Porsche wheels, but I like after.
Look at those wheels; they're fat and they're good.
See, I would like the car with these better.
Me too. They're nice because they look like Porsche wheels, right?
That's why you never say that. You always
because they look like the new GT4 wheel.
They really do.
Just bigger.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But I like HRE wheels in general. I think they do an incredible job. And if this would have brought the car to me to another level. But the seller was selling these with the car.
Yeah, he just wanted it all. He was done.
He's done, man. Just here, take it all. Take it all.
Yeah.
So there you go. So 114 plus, so just shy of 120,000 for a 15991. Listen, the naturally aspirated 7-speed, the last of that naturally aspirated, nice color combination, all the blah. There you go.
Yeah, and plus the new Targas, they're over 200 now, a lot of the ones I'm seeing, at least the Heritages. So that's helping these not drop too much,
The world has gone mad.
It's crazy.
Holy maruch. Okay, so now we're going to go over to, let's just touch base on this for you Porsche lovers out there. It's a BMW. It's a BMW Z8 Roadster. It's a 2001. I mean, what is there not to love about this car?
Yeah, well, somebody said, I think it was in the comments, no world-class collection is complete without one of these.
It's so true.
Unless you have a 507. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those cars that when you walk into, you know, a state-of-the-art collection, a beautiful facility, it's like a piece of jewelry, and you could drive it. You know, it's got an M5 motor for people who don't know, so it's that, you know, 400 horsepower, V8, rear-wheel drive stick. So even though it looks pretty, the car's a beast.
Yeah, man.
And this was another car back in '01 that was selling. These cars were about $130, and like the 996 Turbo, dealers were getting like a $70,000 premium for them, and they've always brought good money. You know,
as well as they should. So 125 to 130 original MSRP. They came with a 4.9 liter V8, as you said, from the M5.
Yeah.
It pays close homage to the 507, which was built in the mid 50s, 57 and 8, I believe. The brainchild of Max Hoffman and BMW. 252 of those were built, made famous ultimately by the king himself, Elvis Presley.
maybe you could stick a picture of one in there.
I will, which Elvis Presley.
Not a lot of people know what a 507 is.
The 507, and to me, it's the greatest accomplishment, automotive-wise, design-wise, of mankind. It is, to me, the most beautiful car that has ever been made. And Elvis Presley brought one to the States here and put a Chevy, not a Chevy, he put a motor in it, an American
I didn't know that.
motor in the car, yeah. And I'll put some information.
Yeah, it's an
about
important car, and for those of you who don't know, they're seven-figure cars. They're really important cars, you know, because they just don't exist.
And if you see them, this whole side, air here intake, these gills, and the front over here has all the remnants of that car. It pays wonderful homage to it.
And the way the back sits.
The way
It almost has the same posture.
Yeah, it has the same posture. And then when you go to the interior on the car, look how gorgeous that is, man. Just so beautiful. And when you see the interior, you can see also that the car, the dashboard even has, some
Steering wheel and everything, yeah.
The steering wheel and also just the layout. It has a little bit, it really does, of the feel and aesthetics of the original.
So as far as this comp goes, for those of you who aren't Z8 aficionados, silver black is beautiful, but that's the most common spec on this car. So the fact that this was black with the cream and the two-tone, gave it a couple of bucks. There's been one or two wacky comps out there that, went over 2, but I think that's a little ambitious. I mean, this is about what, anywhere between 180 and 200 is probably where these cars would sit with this kind of mileage in a non-silver black. Now, silver red is a premium, right? Black red is a premium. But,
and again, like you said, this is a car that is dramatically affected by color, like Porsche.
Dramatic. And mileage. The most expensive one we saw was that 60-mile one 2 years ago in Monterey. I think it did 360. It was black, but it had 60 miles. It was a delivery mile car.
Yeah, and that went for big money. But I'm telling you right now, you could take you take black,
right,
and then take black tan or black and red, and you're going to see black is the lowest, black tan is the second, and black and red is the third. I mean, the highest. And you won't see $2,000 difference.
Even more so in a car like this.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this specific car.
Yeah.
You add a red interior to this, and you could probably add $5,000 to $10,000 to the selling price.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make this car red, to me, listen, it's all subjective as far as color, but rarity comes into play here, how they were made. But like you said, the silver, you put silver black, the car it's beautiful. You can't make this car ugly, but silver black is kind of a little drabby. You put a red interior, oh my God, it comes to life. And then you take the silver with the tan, and it has a nice flare to it, a little more clear. So
some of them even had tan tops, which I'm not usually a fan of that, but on this car it looks good because it's very elegant.
Is that
and
right?
the 507s, we've seen that too on a 507 with a tan top.
Yeah.
But I've seen black with a tan top, and it's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
5,000 made. I don't know if you said that. 5,000 of these were made. It was not a super rare car, but U.S. I think 2,500 was sent to the U.S. And that's a lot of cars, man. That's a lot of cars. Listen, the reason why this car is not $500,000 is because they made 5,000 of them. When you look at the Carrera GT and they made 1,200 Carrera GTs, if they made as many Carrera GTs as they made F50s, the car would be $3 million.
That's right. Because this year, this car's 20.
Yeah.
So a lot happens in 20 years.
No, it's true.
People, like, look, you get like a hurricane comes in, like Sandy. I know people that lost cars, and things get totaled, things get driven, too many miles.
Yeah,
so there's out of the 2,500, like you said, that were probably brought to the U.S. How many nice ones really left? There's probably a good amount.
Things are different today, Jim. Yeah. It's not like it was 30 years ago where you used to use 73 RS as a grocery shopping car. Now people are buying these for collections. They're driving very, very little.
You're
and
right.
They're buying them and putting them in collections. So I think you're going to lose a lot less of these special cars
than the other ones. You're right.
Than you did years ago. Because how many 73 Porsche 911 RS 2.7s were destroyed just by living their lives, out
being
in the wild.
raced, everything.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that is the Z8. And if you have a Z8, bring it on. Okay. And then we'll finish up with something what we consider to be pretty freaking cool. Actually, you may not. You may hate it.
It's
you may
interesting.
Love it.
You can't say it's not interesting.
Well, so here you have a car that's sold on Pcarmarket. It's a 76 Datsun 280Z with a Ferrari GTO body kit. I'm going to put my shield on right now so I don't get slaughtered. I like this car only because the proportions are pretty freaking cool. This car's nice. It's actually, I've seen these that look silly. Silly, I tell you. but this car is actually very nice. I mean, it has nice proportions. The badging, even look at the back of the car, the intakes. I mean, it's all fake stuff. I mean, I'm not, the Baranis, obviously they're not real. The wheels. The interior, not real Daytona seats, but it's a 300Z. I mean, it's a Datsun 280Z, so it's not based on a pile of crap either. It's based on a pretty decent driving car, or at least in that era, for that era. So, what's your thoughts on that, man? We'd love to hear from you because this car sold for
$50,000.
Over $50,000. Yeah. Now I'm thinking somebody with a GTO and
a real one.
Somebody with a real GTO wanted to have a nice, cute little thing next to it and probably bought the car. I don't know. I mean, that's just speculation, and it wouldn't be a bad idea, for somebody to do that who has the means, and why not? But look, am I crazy?
No, you're not. I hate kit cars. Like, when you see an F40 on a Pontiac Fiero, I mean, if I won it in a contest, I would just have it hauled away. I wouldn't even say, because I'm an authentic guy. Like, I don't even drink skim milk. I want real, everything. I want real stuff. But what you said is this was done, like, look at it. It sits nice. Yeah, and whoever did it took a lot of care, and I have an appreciation for that. They did a lot, of work to get it to look that good. So, and I think that the public appreciated it, which is why, it was well received. So, and like you said, you could actually drive it. A Datsun is a cool car to drive. I've driven them.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this car.
I would love to drive it into a Ferrari Concours, though, and straight-faced and enter it like a
look at that. Look right there. Boom. Stop that. First of all, I thought you were going to say I'd like to drive it straight into a wall.
No, because I probably wouldn't walk out.
But come on, why is it doing that? So look at that view. Look at the hips. Look at the wheels. Look at the front end. I'm telling you, it's just cool looking. All right. So it is what it is, and you can drive this car, have fun. If you like attention, this is a wonderful way to get attention and cool attention. Thumbs up, big smiles. Let's let this run for a minute because it really gives you a nice perspective when you go through the car.
But we had to talk about it because we'll probably never have another one. Unless when this guy's done and he wants to sell it,
Yeah, I don't know how many of these were actually made, and I'm sure that Ferrari was all over them. So they probably, as soon as they probably sold one, the cease and desist letters went out, and the attorneys got on it right away because how many of these could they make? I know.
Yeah.
I know Ferrari Fiero with Pontiac, the same thing happened. Not Pontiac, but the Fiero being used to make the 308s. Remember?
Yeah.
They made the 308.
Or was it F40 or 3? I don't know.
It was a 308. There was a Pontiac. There was a Pontiac deal near me when I was, I wasn't a kid at the point, but I remember going over there and seeing them in front of the Pontiac delership. He had like 4 of them for sale.
I remember coming out of elementary school.
They were horrible.
And the kids thought, there was one outside, they thought it was a real Ferrari. And I was like, I was a kid. Well, and I knew, I was laughing at it.
Yeah, but you weren't normal.
No, but I'm saying it's like, it was a horrible thing.
You know, you were the kid looking out the window, you know, watching cars as the science class was going on, you know, like naming cars as they were passing. And I was the same. So, you know, you could tell. But most people, I'm telling you right now, most people don't have a clue about anything with this. But those that have seen a GTO once in their life in a picture and know how special it is, would probably say, "Oh, it's a GTO," and fawn over it. But I don't know.
That's well done. It's cool.
Cool car, man. Good for the seller and the buyer who obviously wanted it badly. Hey, I think that's about it.
That's about it.
I think that wraps. So thank you so much. Again, we know that you could spend your time watching anything, and we are grateful that you took the time to watch our podcast, Inside the Market. Please stay tuned. Look for our, I'm going to say TV show, but it's going to be a Yahoo show on the Pcarmarket Life's YouTube channel called This Is My Car. Great guests, great cars, and it's going to be cool. It's been fun doing it, meeting a lot of the owners. So I'm really looking forward to it. Jim?
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Let's get the guys back up and start rocking and rolling. John, thank you. We'll see you next time on Inside the Market. Take care.